Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to IT Service Management. Today we will discuss about topic number 1, the IT Service Management Overview. Okay. So for the next hour, we will going to discuss on the foundation of what is the ITSM, and also we will explore the major industry framework like the ITIL, COBIT, and the ISO 20000. Okay, and we're going to complete the ITSM service life cycle, and we will discuss the value is created, and we will also address the real-world implementation challenges, and finally we also will look at the ways the future of ITSM is headed. Okay, so let's dive into part 1, which is the definition of ITSM. So when we are speaking about IT management, we often picture a server rack, software code, programming, maybe a router, and troubleshooting hardware problems. Okay, but the ITSM is actually different. The ITSM takes a holistic approach. It has a comprehensive. It has a policy-based approach to design, to deliver, to manage, and improving on how the information technology is used across the entire organization. And instead of focusing on purely on technology, the ITSM has a customer-centric focus. So unlike the traditional IT management that concentrates on hardware uptime and software deployment, the ITSM center entirely on delivering value to the customer and meeting a strategic business needs. So to make this work, the ITSM integrate 3 critical pillars, which is people, process, and technology. And this bring together the organizational, personnel, structured operation process, and also enabling the technologies. We want to achieve the maximum operational efficiencies with high service quality. Okay, next up, we know that the ITSM is. Now let's look at the scope of ITSM. So what does it actually cover within the enterprise? Okay, so first, it offers a complete service life cycle coverage, and the scope encompasses every single stage of IT services, ensuring that nothing is overlooked from the moment of the idea is conceived to the day the service is discontinued. Second, the ITSM has a cross-departmental impact. It does not sit in an isolated IT department. It applies across various business units, breaking down functional silos between the IT and the department link, like the human resource, like the finance, the customer support. Third one, it focuses heavily on resource optimization. So the ITSM dictates exactly how an organization infrastructure, application, data, and human resource located and managed to ensure maximum return of investment. And the fourth one, it provides a continuous governance. The scope includes establishing organizational policies, ensure compliance standards are met, and executing risk management protocol to govern all IT activities effectively. Okay, next part, the role of ITSM in business operation. The primary driver is the strategic alignment, and the ITSM bridge the historical gap between technical capabilities, overarching business goal, to ensure that every dollar spent on IT investment directly support the organizational objective, and also it drive operational efficiencies by introducing the standardized process, and the ITSM will reduce system downtime, eliminates redundant tasks, and streamlines business overflows across the enterprise. And furthermore, the ITSM is key to risk mitigation through proactive incident and problem management. So organization will minimize operational disruption, which protect the revenue stream and preserve the business continuity. Part number 4, introduction to framework. So let's talk about how do companies actually implement the ITSM. They use industrial framework. The main benefit of adopting a framework is standardization. So the framework will provide proven industry tested best practice. So this will save the organization from having to reinvent the wheel when structuring the IT operation. Importantly, there are customizable guidelines, not rigid rules. So they offer adaptable blueprints that can be tailored to fit the business, any size, scale, or industry. So the framework will build up a continuous improvement culture, popular ITSM framework with feedback loops and ongoing evaluation mechanism to drive perpetual optimization of IT services. And finally, the framework will give the global recognition, adopting established standards, enhance credibility with external stakeholder, business partner, and clients by demonstrating a commitment to service excellence. Okay, in this part, we look at the ITIL, which stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So the ITIL holds a clear market dominance. It is the global recognition as the most widely accepted guidance for IT service management that are focusing primarily on the service life cycle and the concept of value co-creation. So the modern ITL places a heavy value chain focus. It emphasizes the service value chain. This is a flexible operating model designed for creating, for delivering, and continually improving the services. And the ITIL anchor a core guiding principle, such as the focus on value, process iteratively with feedback, and the collaborate and promote visibility, which steer the organizational culture and decision making, and also the details of specific practice areas such as the incident management, change enablement, and problem management to handle daily operation changes systematically. Okay, next in part 6 we have COBIT, developed by the ISACA. COBIT stands for Control Objective for Information and Related Technologies. So the COBIT main distinction is to govern versus management. And the COVID clearly separates the IT governance with focus on evaluating stakeholder needs and direction from the IT management, which handle the planning, the building, and running of daily activities. And the enterprise alignment. So the COVID helped organization align the IT government's framework directly with broader corporate governance, legal mandates, and compliance regulation. And it also provides a holistic governance system utilizing the governance components such as formal process, organizational structures, policies, and culture to build a controlled IT environment. Okay, next part we have the ISO IEC 20000. Different from ITIL and COBIT, which are advisory framework, the ISO 20000 is a formal international standard. So it is specifically designed for ITSM and provide organizational with formal audit and certification opportunities. The ISO 20000 contains auditable requirement, set the mandatory requirement that the organization must satisfy to achieve and maintain certification, and require comprehensive progress, integration, establishment, implementation, maintenance, and continuous improvement of documented service management system, or DSMS. So achieving the ISO 20000 certification gives a strong market differentiation, proving to client and regulator that the organization adhere to rigorous, internationally verified quality benchmark. Right? Now let's move into how the service progress over time. Part 8, the introduction to the ITSM life cycle. So the life cycle represents a structured progression. It breaks the service management into logical, sequential stages to ensure thorough planning, execution, and control. However, to keep in mind, the iterative nature, these are the stages are not strictly linear. Insight gained in operational or transition phase frequently loop back to refine earlier strategic or design stages. So we have the classic framework encompass the 5 life cycle phases. Number 1 is the service strategy, second service design, next service transition, service operation, and the continual service improvement. So each of these 5 phases form a quality assurance containing a specific objective and review checkpoint designed to catch misalignment before they reach end user. Okay, in this part 9, we start the beginning of service strategy. So the service strategy center on defining the value, and it clarify what the service the IT organization should offer and identify the target customer segment or the internal business unit being served. It involves detailed market space analysis, where the team evaluates the competitor offerings, internal delivery capabilities, and customer needs to build a differentiated service portfolio. And the financial management, this is a core component here. The strategic oversees the budgeting, accounting, and charging for IT service to guarantee the cost effectiveness and financially viability. And finally, it will conduct the DIM forecasting. Okay? A strategy anticipates future business requirement and pattern of business activity to ensure adequate resource provisioning down the line. Okay, moving to part 10, the service design. So the service design is about translating the strategy that makes the high-level strategic vision and converts into detailed blueprints for new or modified IT services. The fundamental concept here is the 4 Ps of design. Okay? So the 4 Ps is the people, product, which is the technology or tools, partners, which is the supplier and vendor, and process. Okay, and it handle the architectures planning, covering the design of technical architectures, management system, and performance metric, and also risk of continuity planning and security control, availability targets, and disaster recovery that measure right from the initial blueprint stage rather than an afterthought. Okay, in this part we have a service transition. So service transition is responsible for building and deploying. It manages the construction, the testing, and safe release for new or change services into live production environment. A primary focus here is the change enable, ensure that all modification evaluated for risk, properly authorized, and deployed with minimal disruption on ongoing operation. It emphasizes the knowledge transfer. The transition oversees documentation, configuration management, technical training for support team before the service goes live. And lastly, we handle the validation and testing. Transition teams that test the service against design specification to guarantee they satisfy security and performance criteria. Okay, once deployed, we will arrive at the part 12, which is the service operation. So the service operation handle day-to-day delivery. So this is the phase that the service are currently run, monitored, and maintained for delivery values to user. And it will focus heavily on incident resolution. When unexpected disruption occur, operation teams restore a normal service as quickly as possible using structured incident management protocol. And it also responsible for fulfilling requests, handling routine user requests such as password requests or password resets or the software provisioning efficiently. And the operation is about balancing the stability and agility. So operation team must maintain consistent day-to-day performance while remaining responsive to business updates. Okay, the final phase is the continual service improvement, CSI. So CSI is about perpetual enhancement that evaluate and improve the service, the operational process, and underlying infrastructure across all other lifecycle stages. And it applies a structured improvement model. We utilize the feedback cycle like the plan to do check act cycle to ensure performance against baseline metric. CSI works by identifying gaps, pinpointing operational inefficiencies, recurring incidents, and areas where the user satisfaction can be increased. And most importantly, it aims at the embedding a culture where every team member continuously seeks ways to optimize service delivery. Now let's step back and ask, how does the ITSM actually create business value? So modern ITSM focus on the core creation of value. So the value is not merely delivered to a customer, it is co-created through active collaboration. So the value evaluated using two primary dimensions, utility and warranty. So the utility is fit for purpose, what the service actually does. Warranty is fit for use, how well the service performs. So both must be present for true value to exist. Okay, let's review the evaluation of ITSM. So the ITSM has moved from mainframe to cloud. It evolved from rigid hardware-focused mainframe management into agile cloud-integrated service delivery model. And the model ITSM is embracing automation, incorporating artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and automated workflow to handle routine service requests instantly. And the traditional ITSM demonstrates the integration with modern framework, blending smoothly with agile software development methodologies and DevOps, development operation practice. Okay, to manage the ITSM effectively, we must understand the key stakeholder in ITSM. We have the service provider, the internal IT teams, or the external contractor responsible for designing, building, and maintaining services. And we have the business customers. This will executive or the department head who fund, negotiate, and authorize the acquisition of IT services. We have the end user. This is the operational staff who directly interact with the application and hardware daily to perform the work. And then we have the supplier and vendor. They are the external third party that provide supporting software component, hardware, or cloud infrastructure. Okay, despite a clear benefit, implementing the ITSM comes with real challenges. As not in this part, the cultural resistance. This is often the primary hurdles. Staff and IT teams frequently push back against standardized process, preferring legacy habits. A lack of executive buy-in can stall initiative due to the insufficient funding and resource allocation. Organizations also suffer from over-engineering process. We make the workflow overly bureaucratic and rigid, which defeats the original goal of efficiency. And last one will be inadequate tooling, attempting complex ITSM practice without proper platform automation leads. So success factor for ITSM implementation. How do we overcome this challenge? First, establish a clear vision and scope, starting with a focused scope such as perfecting incident management. First, prevent team from becoming overwhelmed. Maintaining a continuous communication that keep all the stakeholders informed about the purpose and benefits of the change, and reduce culture friction. Invest in training and education. Training will ensure your staff understand not just how to use the software tools, but the overarching service mindset. Focus on the measuring realistic metric. Track a meaningful business outcome rather than vanity metric to demonstrate clear value. Okay, looking ahead, the future of ITSM, we see heavy IOPs integration, IAOPs integration, which is the artificial intelligence for IT operation that predict the system outages before they affect the user, and automates a root cause analysis. So the ITSM is expanding into enterprise service management, ESM, where the ITSM principles are adopted by non-technical departments like the HR, facilities, and legal. We are moving towards the hyper-automation end-to-end workflow execute with zero human intervention. And finally, we have the metrics that are shifting towards enhanced experience metrics, XM, that focus on experience level agreement, XLAs, that measure the user satisfaction and emotional statement rather than just technical uptime, SLA, a percentage. Okay, so to wrap up our today's lecture in part 20, the ITSM perform the core foundation of modern enterprises. IT align technical capabilities with business goal to deliver a true value. Using a framework like the ITIL, the COBIT, the ISO 20000 give us a structured, adaptable best practice following the service life cycle, ensuring thorough control across strategy, design transition, operational, and continual improvement. And an effective ITSM drives business transformation, shifting IT from an expensive back office cost center into a core driver of business advantage. So thank you for your attention today, class. Please review the lectures notes before our next session, okay? And also please work on your assignments, your quiz, and prepare for your midterm exam, okay? Thank you for joining. We will see you again on the second part or second topic of the subject. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye.